Hello and welcome to the Tip the Trap podcast from myself, Sam.
And me, Alex.
We're talking mostly nonsense about our favourite music and artist. Thank you and hope you enjoy listening to today's episode.
Okay, welcome. Episode number 5, is it, I think?
5 or 6, yeah.
I think
Might be
it's
6, you know.
Yeah, I think it is 6. No, brilliant. So I think today's episode, actually, a bit of a weird one. We had plans to do another artist with 2 albums, and then I was out in Manchester on Saturday, and I was driving through Manchester and went past the famous Salford Lads Club and saw it was quite busy. So I was quickly, when I got into Manchester, Googling and thinking, I wonder what's going on there today. And apparently it was the anniversary of 40 years of The Queen is Dead that came out by the Smiths. So I quickly messaged Alex and thought, I've got to do this one, got to do the Smiths. We wanted to do it a while anyway, but I was waiting for the right moment to do it. But now seems good a time as any. So yeah, today we're going to be just talking about the Smiths and our favourite albums. We have to do The Queen is Dead. I think that's the right thing to do.
Yeah,
don't you, Will?
the irony if we didn't pick it.
Yeah. But it does help that it's a great album. I mean, in my opinion, all the albums by the Smiths are near enough perfect. And they are one of my favourite bands, and I can confidently say probably my favourite band.
Yeah. I'd say same up there. It's always funny with the Smiths as well, because I go through phases, and not that I go off them, I think I go through like heavy bashing them, and then go a while like listening, then I always come back around to them. I'd say every couple of years I go on a big Smiths bender.
And what period are you in at the moment?
Hiatus. So I'm probably due on now. I think after this I'll be back on although not much for summer band to me.
Wow,
I don't know.
That's a controversial choice, and they got many songs that feel. I mean, the lyrics might not.
Yeah, I'd say they've got many riffs summery.
Yeah, no. I think honestly, in my eyes, it's always a good time to listen to the Smiths. They're just one of them bands that are just timeless. But I do know what you mean. It's probably something not I take for granted, but it's something that I know I can always come back to, and it definitely is timeless for me anyway.
Yeah, agreed.
So yeah, I think my album is going to be The Queen is Dead. I think that's what we sort of decided on that. Which album are you going to be putting against that one, Alex?
I've gone for, and it was a tough one, but I went for the Smiths debut.
Okay.
And I thought, because I think it got me, it's probably the introductory thing, apart from probably There Is a Lie, I'd say This Charming Man was next, then maybe What Difference Does It Make? So I thought, why not go back to the beginning?
Yeah. Honourable mentions though to Strange Ways and Meet His Murder.
Yeah,
and
can't be forgotten.
And some of the B-sides that we've got as well, like Hot Full of Hollow, Louder Than Bombs.
Yeah, some of them compilations, I was saying to you, can I sneak a compilation in? But if we're going straight for studio,
I don't think
pernickety on the rules.
Yeah. I don't think it'd be fair to do compilation albums like that.
Yeah, Hatful of Hollow though has got to be.
Oh yeah.
Because what was interesting is when I picked the debut is just before this, I was comparing versions, because a lot of obviously the first album is on Hatful of Hollow, so going through some of the different versions and seeing which version I preferred.
Yeah, brilliant. And just going back to obviously you mentioned with your introduction to the Smiths and stuff like that, what do you think as a band sort of sets these apart from maybe other bands?
I think obviously if you go for the I was going to say obviously twice. If you go for the obvious thing, jangly upbeat riffs against how to summarise what Morrissey is, some downbeat lyrics, downtrodden, let's say, and depicting sort of Manchester at a certain time. I don't know, they're very northern. They were probably in the new wave of indie bands, I'd say, coming through. If not, you'd probably say one of the first, potentially.
I definitely would. I think that's because if you look at the 80s as a whole, a lot of the probably pop music around them was the big solo artists like Michael Jackson, Madonna, people like that.
Yeah.
Who just these mega stars, and then probably around the bands around that time, the 80s music's got a very particular style, hasn't it?
It does. Even the guitar people, you'd say, of the time were very more pop focused.
Yes.
Tears for Fears and stuff.
Yeah, Haircut 100.
Yeah, so these, and obviously these were signed to Rough Trade,
Yeah.
independent record label, and I guess it was just a catalyst for what was to come.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, like I said, the name of the Smiths that they've talked about, they wanted the most ordinary thing, because again, going to bands like Haircut 100 and Tears for Fears names and stuff like that, it's so good and shows obviously the wit that Morrissey had, and I think that comes with all the lyrics and stuff. I know people might say the lyrics are depressing and different things like that, but a lot of his lyrics are quite humorous.
Yeah, it's very tongue-in-cheek, isn't it?
Yeah.
I guess. And I think that was another thing with the Smiths that I did always like, is they were probably the first band you're into where you're like, this isn't for everyone.
Yeah.
And you feel a certain way towards them. I know they've probably been in your life a lot longer than in mine, so what was your first introduction to them?
Well, my dad was massively into the Smiths, and to be honest, even my dad as well. My dad was born in 1972, so I kind of think he missed the sort of peak of the Smiths. He never saw them live, but my dad did see Morrissey about 20 times live, and I think it was a massive part of his life when he was sort of growing up. That was sort of his thing. And I think when I obviously started getting into music, he sort of, showed me the Smiths. But I'd listen to them and new songs and new bits just from my dad. But it was probably about, which is still pretty young, but about 12 of when I seriously started getting into the Smiths and it becoming a bit of an obsession for myself. And yeah, like I said, the music's just unbelievable, and I don't think as good as Mars. I don't think Andy Rourke and Mike Joyce get the credit
No,
they
they
deserve
don't.
for the roles in the Smiths,
Which is what a whole lawsuit
yeah.
ensued about. But
Yeah, and I think, like I said, as a live piece band, the obviously I've never seen them, but they looked fantastic, and to do that, and I know they had Craig Gannon for some parts towards the later years, but to do that with just one guitar, a bass and a drum is pretty impressive.
yeah, definitely. And the way he layers guitars as well and stuff, his melodies are insanely good, and still a great guitarist when you hear, instantly recognisable.
Yeah, definitely. So I think next we will go to our fact versus lies to see.
Let's go for it.
To see what Alex's knowledge. It's your turn to answer. I think we're 0 for 0 for 0 at this at the minute.
Yeah,
so
I'm
it's
not
going well.
not have the best
But
record on these.
I'm hoping with these questions.
I like how these questions always follow us talking about how much we love someone and then we mess up the history.
Yeah, it's not great, but we're trying, and one day we'll get something right. So the first one is, the first time Morrissey and Johnny Marr met, Marr arrived unannounced at Morrissey's house. Number 2 is the song There Is a Light That Never Goes Out was released as a single in the UK while the band was still together. Or 3, Mike Joyce was the last member to join the band's classic lineup. Which is the fact?
It's got to be There Is a Light, isn't it? Because it's off the third album and then they went on to release more albums. So while they were still together?
Yeah.
Oh, because released as a single. Was it not is that like a trick then? Was it not you trying to poke a face? For anyone who, no one can see.
Can't see.
For anyone.
It'd be weird if they could see.
Yeah. Everyone's at the window gathered to watch the live recording. Yeah, released as a single. I feel like you would put it out as a single though, wouldn't you? Anyway. Don't know, I keep going high pitch. It's going to be... I'm going to stick with my guns because I feel... Oh, no, but is it a trick question? Or would you have double bluffed? Yeah, I'm going to stick to my guns. I'm going to say the fact is There Is a Light.
Well, you're wrong. 0-0-0.
Is it Mike Joyce was the last?
No.
Oh.
And do you know what? When I was looking at this, I thought that was the one as well, but no. Answer number 1 is the fact. Ma famously turned up at Morrissey's house in Manchester in '82 and introduced himself. Number 2 is false because There's a Light That Never Goes Out wasn't released as a UK single until after the band had split. And number 3 is false because Andy Rourke joined after Joyce, making Rourke the last member of the classic lineup.
Interesting.
Which I did actually know after because obviously Rourke was a guitarist before he was a bass player.
Yeah.
But I assumed because he was friends with Ma, because of childhood friends, that might have been something that was before when Joyce. Because I know that I think Joyce it was an advert and then he auditioned.
Oh, is that how that? You know what I need to stop doing on this game? Is taking a second guess because I also get that wrong every time. I go, oh, it's this one, and it still isn't.
Yeah, it's not great when you get 2 out of 3.
No.
No, great. So let's have a little talk about the albums first before we get into the tracks.
Cool.
So, do you want to talk about the Smiths' debut album first?
Yeah, funny. So, because obviously we only do 5 tracks. Funnily enough, outside of the 5 I've picked, it's probably my weakest album.
Brilliant, good choice of album.
No, but hear me out. But the reason being, I find the other 3 so consistent across the board and difficult to pick one thing. Whereas when I was doing this one, 5 of the tracks jumped out at me. Obviously, other ones are great on there. I'm not saying only these 5. I'm not saying it should have been an EP, but I just mean I think standard wise, I think they had a benchmark for all other albums, and everything hit it. I just find the weaker ones on this slightly weaker, but the 5 I picked are 5 of my favourite Smith songs.
I like it.
I'd say, but I think what I've liked is, I don't want to say back to basics and sound all pretentious, but I've picked some big hitters. So yeah, that's the choice, and obviously the interesting thing I mentioned before of there being alternative versions. I do find that interesting and comparing which one I prefer. But yeah, that's this album for me. What about Queen is Dead for you?
Well, so The Queen is Dead is probably the first full album I listened to. I
thought you were going to follow my footsteps and say probably my least favourite.
No, I love all 4 albums. It's like picking your children for me. I probably overall lean towards Strange Ways because I think it's so different from the other 3 albums. They've all got the different parts to them. But Strange Ways for me is an album that it's got that disco beat to it. I shouldn't be talking about it too much because I'm talking about The Queen is Dead. But I think the one thing that drew me in again, and it goes with the second album, Meet His Murder, as well. What an album title to have for a band in the 80s. The monarchy at that point, it's slightly different now, but it still felt very much in charge, the monarchy at the time with that, and I think Johnny Marr's parents really didn't want...
I was just going to ask, that's your party fact. That should have been one of your things. I know that because you've told me that 50 times.
Yeah, no, I know that Marr said in numerous interviews that his parents were very apprehensive, and I think he was pushing for the album to be named something different. I think Morrissey's only other suggestion was Margaret on the Guillotine, which
yeah,
might not have been great. But yeah, I think that's like I said, that was what drew me into listening to it initially, and then you go from the opening track, which I want to say about the Smiths. I don't think there's many bands that have got better opening tracks for every single one of their studio albums than the Smiths.
Agreed.
Reel Around the Fountain on the Smiths debut, I think it's fantastic. And then you've got the Headmaster's Ritual on Meet His Murder, which again is just wow, probably one of my favourite Smith songs. And then to this album, The Queen is Dead, which it's just, oh my god, like I think it's great that introduction from is it from a film from 1962?
It's like a sample, isn't it, of a show or something, or a film.
Which it's just, it's just you're not expecting that when you're putting on a record.
And then that drum, Tom's
that
kick
big
in.
introduction again, which And this is another thing with this album. I think you really do capture all of the band, like, you know, in songs like which I know it's over and stuff like that when you're hearing.
And I think that's one of his best vocal performances.
Yeah.
I'd say.
And again with the self-titled track on this album, I love the vocals, the high pitched vocals in the background for this song as well. I think I think some of the lyrics in it are just amazing. And again with the Queen is Dead song, I think you see a lot of humour in it. It doesn't literally like
Yeah. I mean the lyrics are brilliant. If just on the lyrically, if you could pick, what do you say your favourite song is overall lyric wise?
On this album,
or any?
I think the Queen is Dead's really. It is really solid. I think the lyrics in that are an amazing story. I mean, I just think some of the lines in that, like Charles, have you ever? It's brilliant. That and I think I'd probably say like There's the Light That Never Goes Out is just a great
that's like
song.
that's an indie anthem.
Yeah, and I Know It's Over's got some amazing lyrics. There's too many Smith songs. I think that's what makes this band so good, is that I think the music and the lyrics together are just some of the best. And controversially, I would probably say Morrissey and Marr is a better partnership than McCartney and Lennon.
That is controversial.
Hear me out.
Yeah.
So with the Beatles, we kind of have a thing where we know, like, oh, you know, Paul wrote this song and Lennon wrote
who
this
sang
song.
it did probably like 80%,
Yeah.
and even more so as it went on.
With this one, we've got an exact 50-50 of who wrote every single song, because Morrissey didn't touch a single.
Yeah, it's a different kind of
Instrument.
partnership, isn't it?
Different, but also I would say in terms of, and look, the Beatles did a lot of different things, did a lot of different music, a lot of different genres. It's amazing, and they sort of made bands like the Smiths and stuff be a thing. It's inspirational, so it's a tongue-in-cheek thing. But in terms of hit to song ratio, I would say the Smiths have got a lot better percentage of success rate with their songs.
Yeah, I don't know on this one. Well, no, I do know. I'm in disagreement
Four
with
studio
you.
albums that I think are very much up there and a solid sort of 8 or 9.5 out of 10. I'm going on that. Whereas I would probably argue the Beatles have got a hell of a lot of songs, but I probably wouldn't say, bar maybe a couple albums, are up there with the Smith studio albums.
We'll have to do a Beatles podcast because I'm in firm disbelief.
I don't know how you can be. I just think the success rate of how many songs that the Smiths have got, granted it's sort of one genre and they don't explore many others like the Beatles do, which I'm fair to admit. I'm not saying they're a better band necessarily, but I think in terms of a songwriting partnership.
Yeah, and I think the way the Smiths were in a partnership really influenced other indie bands to go on, and particularly guitarists be like, oh right, I don't need to write melodies and lyrics, I can write riffs and that be my thing.
How
And
many
then you
others
have
have
a
done that?
lyricist. Suede famously took it from them, massive Smiths fans.
Yeah.
I think Bernard Butler and Brett Anderson was a singer, and they had the same arrangement and setup.
Yeah.
Hard to say whether the Roses were that transparent in it. I
Yeah.
imagine Brown mainly did just do melody and words, and obviously Squire did the music,
Yeah.
but whether Squire got involved with lyrics, I'm not too sure. But yeah, I mean, it is a big aspirational thing, isn't it? If you're a guitarist and
Yeah.
you know, you meet someone who's not got the interest in that but has interest in writing melodies and lyrics, you're going to go together. So I think for partnership wise that way, amazing. But yeah, I'm not on this I'm not on this Beatles
Like I said,
thing.
it's tongue in cheek in a lot of ways, because you don't get me wrong, I love the Beatles. I would always describe them as the best band, but a lot of that comes down to what they sort of done.
Yeah, not necessarily basing it on this solid.
Yeah, and let's not forget that George Martin's a massive influence with the Beatles as well, that the Smiths don't have with them. And let's not forget Johnny Marr's age, and obviously the Beatles are a great example of a very young musicianship. Don't get me wrong, but let's not forget Marr's age in terms of doing everything musically himself, just himself. Whereas the Beatles, and I'm not downplaying
Oh my God, we're going down a dark thing here.
I'm just saying.
The room's getting dark and moving in on ya.
They did have someone to hold the hand a little bit with George Martin, didn't they?
Yeah, but I'll have to look into Smith. Obviously, production techniques the Smiths do have a lot of, but I guess writing techniques was their own stuff. Because is it Stephen Street who did all the Smith stuff?
I mean, for Meet Is Murder, the Smiths produced it themselves because they weren't happy with the Smiths' debut album, with how that was produced.
Oh, right.
I don't know if Stephen Street was involved with like the engineering side by the time of Meet Is Murder, but I know that Meet Is Murder was definitely produced by themselves because there's that video that you can watch on YouTube of them recording it.
Oh, can you? I've not seen that.
Yeah, it's quite good to be fair. Yeah, I think it's. Is it when they go visit that primary school? I'm sure it's all part of that video.
Is that when they play?
They're playing this child.
Is it in part of that?
It's in that.
Yeah, like is it like a Granada Reports
thing? Yeah, because it's when
they're
recording
the Roses and stuff have done one. No, they're cool, them kind of things. Yeah, I'm just looking. So, yeah, if you're looking at the producer on them, I don't know where I got Stephen. He was the engineer, Stephen Street. Yeah. I think he only came into his own after because he went on to do Blur. Blur, another partnership of one writes all.
Did he write
guitar,
it all though?
Graham.
I don't know if he wrote it all. I think half the reason why they sort of.
I think he's come out recently, as I said, it was difficult working with Damon because of like his talent. But I think that was as it went on. But somebody I'd say is equally as passionate about guitar wise, and somebody who's into melodies. But obviously, Damon Albarn famously gets out his little acoustic a lot, doesn't he, and plays. So I bet some did come directly. But anyway.
But I get your point.
Yeah, sorry, I was really wrong though. Production wise, Morrissey and Johnny Marr were the driving force of them all, really. Yeah,
except the first, and I think that was some of the issues that they had.
It was, yeah. So that's really interesting. Actually, I didn't know.
No George Martin to help him there, was there?
Because I guess Stephen Street was young, but by the fourth, he was credited as a producer as well as Marr and Morrissey.
And I do think, production-wise, Strange Ways is probably one of the best.
I think that's where they really tried a different.
And they ironically say that's the happiest album recording, which is very odd to come around with how they split up. But there's numerous reasons why this band split up. What just going separate now. What was your sort of thoughts when there was all this talk last year? I think Johnny Marr famously went on to the Overlap podcast, didn't he? And was talking about how he was trademarking the names and protecting the rights because Morrissey had been trying to get the Smiths back together or something.
Yeah, I don't want them to get back together. No, I don't. I don't think they can now.
No. I don't think they can without Andy Rourke.
Yeah, since Andy Rourke passed away, I don't think you can, and I just think it would cheapen it.
Yeah.
If you were now. And I just think now, I never want them to anyway, but if it was the original 4, at least you'd go, okay, that's alright, but I think it really would cheapen it now if you just did the 3, and it would be a bit.
Yeah, I mean, I must admit, I was a lot younger when the Stone Roses got back together, and probably because of the age I'd sort of got into the Stone Roses, that kind of felt right to go to. But I've liked Smiths for so long, and now I feel, not to be pompous or anything, but the amount of people who'd go to the Smiths, and everyone can like what they want to like. I'm not saying anything.
You're gatekeeping the Smiths.
Yeah, sorry, I do feel like I am here, but I don't know. I would take issue, and it'd be out of jealousy purely, if I didn't get tickets and someone else didn't have to fork out 400 quid for a ticket.
You've got it. Yeah, they do have a loyal fan base, though. But I think what I couldn't see and what I wouldn't want to see is like whenever you watch like YouTube clips and stuff of the Smiths, it's always a sweaty, intimate thing.
Yeah.
Smiths at Wembley Stadium doesn't sit right, really, or at Heaton Park. It's too...
Yeah, it's weird though because Morrissey's done a lot of big venues.
Yeah,
not quite, Wembley or anything like that. He's done some big venues, especially in South America where he's just massive for whatever reason. Well, he's a legend, but. So I could envisage it in some ways, but I get what you're saying. I think a part of the allure of the Smiths and sort
it's
of
that sweaty, intimate crowd and people passionately singing along.
Jumping on stage. Which still sometimes happens at Morrissey gigs. But I must admit, I went watching Morrissey about 3-4 years ago now, maybe 3, and he was fantastic. But he's been doing some dates recently, and I think he's got some coming up. One in Manchester, and. My dad was asking me if I fancied going, and I just, if I'm honest, I think I'll always love Morrissey, but as a lot of it's well documented how he's sort of been these last, I want to say 8 years maybe.
Yeah, it's quite a while.
It's very much in a category now, which is such a shame for me of separating the artist from the music a little bit.
Yeah, I agree with you there. What I've obviously never seen him. Would I be? Which is always funny, isn't it, that you talk about a band getting back together? And obviously he plays a lot of the Smith stuff. He's got some great solo stuff.
Yeah.
And every time he comes on, you don't jump. It shows, doesn't it, what a band means?
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? It's not when he does it, you can see the difference.
Yeah, it's crazy actually because you'd think the guy with the voice of the Smiths, it'd be quite easy to do.
Yeah.
But I think it shows the technique that Marr obviously has on the guitar that's just so outstanding that I think even with a full band that Morrissey has, and you clock it on stage. I can't remember some of the guitarists that he's worked with. Morrissey have famously been on most of his solo albums, but it's disappeared from my mind. But like. They just don't capture that sound, and if you ever see any sort of Smiths cover bands as well,
they don't.
So hard.
And I guess it was the relationship between them at the time and the way they leaned on. Obviously, they won't be doing that so much now, but the way they leaned on each other. Yeah,
it was a formidable duo, and I've seen Marr live, and he's done some Smith songs before, and he's just clearly not got the voice for it like Morrissey does, but. You then just hear the music perfect, and a part he does just want to be like, just for one moment want to see them together. But I think I think Marr's made his point very clear.
Yeah, and I think he doesn't agree with Morrissey now in a lot of aspects of life, does he?
I think Morrissey piped up a couple of weeks ago as well about some of the comments that Marr made and things like that. So it's very much a cold one.
There's no love lost, and also I think. A lot of people are like, oh, life's too short, like, make up. I genuinely just think Marr isn't interested in him and probably has nothing in common with that person anymore.
It makes the Oasis reunion feel so strange for me, because I know obviously the Stone Roses did it, but financially that was a big reason as to why they sort of needed to do it, because they were never paid the sort of money that
they had a lot of issues, didn't they?
That's sort of a big factor of why they got back together all them years later. But you wouldn't. I know there's probably some things with a divorce and stuff like that with Noel Gallagher that might have influenced his decision with it. But a lot of these big bands who do split up when they've kind of had their moment, you don't really see them get back together, do you?
No.
Like the Who and the Jam.
Yeah, I was going to say the Who are still going. I think principle of Paul Weller, I could imagine him being quite stubborn.
Yeah, and he always said to Noel Gallagher, don't do it.
Yeah, and he probably thinks he is the Jam.
Yeah. But again, though, he has done quite well financially years later with Style Council.
I think Oasis, I guess Oasis is probably different being brothers as well.
Yeah.
You maybe want to be on that stage, but we'll find out. I guess there's a film, isn't there, coming out or something?
Oh, is there? Oh, that'll be a to watch.
Yeah, so they want more. They want some more cash from us.
Did you not fancy going the Oasis gigs?
It's one of them. I always said I won't try, and then I was sat in a beer garden with you trying for about 4 hours, and we kept saying
Just
if
rumbled me.
I know, it kept saying if the price goes up, we're not doing it, and then we kept going, we're gonna keep trying.
Yeah, I think that was more of a FOMO of the moment.
Yeah,
wasn't
it
Like,
was. But funnily enough, when it came round, I didn't really have that FOMO.
Yeah, I
it
didn't.
disappeared.
And I must admit, watching, it's a difficult one because they were a great band and in some ways maybe still are. But I think my issue is that I don't think, unfortunately, Liam Gallagher's voice is anywhere near the peak of what it used to be.
I may be controversial here. Oasis were still together way after the heyday.
Yes.
So they were decreasing, and you could easily go to a gig at the time during their last tours.
Oh, easily, yeah.
You know, there were big venues, obviously. You know, Heaton Park was, 70,000, so I'm not saying, like, you could get a ticket and have an audience with Noel Gallagher, but what I'm meaning is, like, and obviously new generations come through and everything, but they'd fizzled as a band. That's how I feel, anyway.
Yeah, this is all just our opinion.
Yeah.
I don't want to waste this.
But yeah, it's not like they finished after What's the Story?
No.
And you were like, oh my god, what would they have brought next?
They didn't have unfinished business, did they?
No.
And maybe...
The bank accounts did, and their accountants, but...
Yeah. No, and that's what I mean. I think that's one of the things that's so alluring with the Smiths, really, isn't it? Because I think, you know, 4 studio albums is good going anyway, isn't it? It really is.
It is.
But if you look at the years that the albums came out...
And when you look at how many tracks are amazing that aren't on them 4 albums.
Yeah.
You know, like, look at Ask. Yeah. And, well, I could just go on, like, Shoplifters of the World. But it's just... It's never ending, really, is it? So, I guess, to be fair, on your hit ratio, you probably were right. But the difference is, obviously, Smiths, years later, are now classed as these big hits. They were all modest hits at that time.
Yeah. And what was I going to say as well with that? I was going to ask you a question. So, what do you think, obviously, with the Smiths versus the Cure? Who do you prefer out the two there? If we're saying the big indie bands of the 80s.
The big indie bands, and famously 2 people who don't get along.
We're very much the opposite.
Yeah, opposite and don't get along. But, yeah, lyrically, you could argue... Oh, God, they'd probably hate that if you compare them lyrically. I'm going to go... Cure's funny because they're still going, and although I heard some of the new stuff recently, it's really good.
He was just on stage with Olivia Rodrigo.
Yeah, well,
so he did a song with her as well,
cool.
Or something.
Oh, I'm not too sure.
Yeah.
I'll have to.
I mean, he was on when we was at Glastonbury.
Yeah.
When I got dragged to Olivia Rodrigo.
That's really fun. Nothing wrong
you
with
just
a bit
looked
of pop.
at me and it was like as if it was all justified.
Yeah.
We watched a full set.
Nothing wrong with a bit of pop. I was loving it.
No, you was.
Dancing me. I'm not as pretentious as you when it comes to music.
I'm not. I'm just.
I'm not a purist.
There was
Cut me and I bleed the Smiths.
There was
That's
a
what
lot
you
of
said.
children there. It was
I
massive.
mean, correct, not to dig you out, but correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't it you who said, let's just chill by the pyramid stage all day and night?
Until I realised that the other 2 options other than Olivia Rodrigo was the Prodigy or the Maccabees.
Yeah, we missed a good one with the Prodigy. That looked
it looked
insane.
amazing, and the Maccabees was meant to be a brilliant set.
The big regret of my life, actually. Although Olivia Rodrigo was good. We'll be telling the grandkids, right? I'll tell them about the Robert Smith moment, which brings me back to the Cure. I'm going to go the Smiths just because they've been a big part of my life. Cure have had some great albums over the time, but they've done a lot of them. And, you know...
Oversaturated the market.
Yeah, a little bit. Enough's enough.
It is weird, isn't it? Because when do you think some of these big bands... Because I suppose if you're a musician... and you just constantly love writing songs and stuff, when do you think you know that you're sort of over that sort of peak? 'Cause it's not like exercise, is it?
Yeah,
right?
I guess you probably are aware, but you're always trying to come back. Like I said, these newer songs, I think have brought them back. But I guess you could take Damon Albarn in the same thing. If you love making it, it's your job, isn't it?
But you know where I think Damon Albarn does it so well is just... the fact that he's always, it's like the Gorillaz is a perfect band because it can just be whatever the hell you want it to be with all the featured artist on it. So I feel like he's got like this
and
sort
his
of
musical, what he takes into it is insane. He's always expanding.
But he's just like, you know, you wouldn't have thought, would you, when you listen to Blur's first album, that would be the same guy who's done all this music years later.
It is mad. We'll definitely have to do a Blur.
Yeah, I feel like we spent more time talking about everything but the Smiths.
So I think on that, then, if we come, let's go for our tracks.
We'll go for our tracks off our album, shall we? What is your first song that you bring into the table off the Smiths?
As you mentioned before, what an opener, Reel Around the Fountain.
Yeah, brilliant song, brilliant.
Although I would say, so this is one, just a caveat on it, I do prefer the John Peel, but obviously I wasn't allowed.
Yeah.
Hatful of Hollow, so...
Sorry, and also to mention, you can't really say John Peel anymore, that's not allowed.
Oh, yeah.
They say Woodsies like Bastard
Woods.
Yeah. That's just the Woodsies track version of it.
Yeah, the Wood. I'm cancelled for mentioning him.
Yeah, we won't get into John Peel, shall
Yeah,
we?
let's... So, Reel
on.
Around the Fountain.
Yeah. Yeah, great song. Probably it's an underrated one as well, because it's a slower tempo.
It's slower tempo, a bit longer in it. There's a few different sections and bits going on.
I think what I love, and I think this song epitomises it the best, is I love you know, we've talked about how great Morrissey is with lyrics, but what I think I love the most is he can repeat lyrics, but with a slightly different melody or a different sort of phrasing that
and
makes
it
him
hits
feel like
hits differently, doesn't it?
And I think, you know, he does it on so many songs, but this one's great because a lot of the lines in this song are just repeated, aren't they? But he does it so well.
For a long song as well, and like one of my favourite lyrics, and maybe not because it's probably one of his simplest, but it's probably the melody, like you say, with it. But 15 minutes with you, well, I wouldn't say no.
Yeah.
Just always, for some reason, it just really hit me hard, that, and I was, I
love the line in this song, I dreamt about you last night and then I fell out of bed twice.
Yeah,
You can pin and mount me like a butterfly.
Yeah, it's unreal, isn't it?
You're the bee's knees. I could just do all of them. It's just, yeah. Can you tell that this is the one that we know the most about of all?
Oh, it's certainly you.
No, just fantastic song. It's made me forget about my own song, which is also a great song, Frankly Mr. Shankly.
Oh, what a tune.
Now, this is a song that I think musically quite the opposite in terms of just a massive upbeat tune, isn't it? Great bass line.
Great bass line again, great lyrics. Was this by Jeff Travis, head of Rough Trade,
it was,
at the time, not paying them?
Yeah, and I think obviously the lyric in the song about I didn't realise you wrote such bloody awful poetry is in reference to him giving him some poetry.
Tighten it, you've exposed someone's weakness.
Yeah, it's quite personal to give someone poetry.
Yeah, he's quite cutting, isn't he?
He is, in a very clever way that would crush your soul if you was on the other end of that.
Yeah, I wouldn't like a little remark off him.
Yeah, and it's like just lines like fame can play hideous
tricks
on
it's
the brain.
So good.
Yeah,
this position I've held, it pays my way and corrodes my soul.
It's just
wow.
It's
because
just
you can. The thing with Smiths is, and just reading that out, it is poetry in it. Like you read it, and you are just reading from like a poetry book.
It's just amazing. Which song we're picking here then?
Oh man, this is pretty tough. I'm gonna stick with mine because I just think I can't put my finger on it, but the emotion, like Frankly Mr. Shankly gives me a little like spring in my step, which is great. I think it's an amazing song, but this actually really makes me get a bit goosebumps, and I just think for it being a slightly longer song, each moment is still magic on it.
Yeah, no, I think as just both talking about both them songs, then I agree with you. I think even I gave you a pretty good case for your song, so it'd be hard for me to know. But I do love Frankly Mr. Shankly. I think it's that's why it's in my top 5.
And we know it after every one of you gonna say.
Yeah. We need to get you a band that you can get this excited
I
about. And we can't say the Stone Roses because they've only got 2 albums. So.
Yeah, but I can still get that pretty
The
excited.
Smiths or the
about-
Stone Roses, just chucking that in there.
Oh, the Stone Roses.
Why?
Just because what they captured.
Do you know what? I'm just going to call you out here. Drunkenly, you've told me before the Smiths were better than the Stone Roses because they had more songs.
You've really dug me out on a few things. I don't remember that.
Of course you don't.
Well, even if I did say it's retracted, people
Oh,
are
is
allowed.
it?
People are allowed to change.
True,
aren't they?
true. But you're wrong.
Right. Track
Track
2.
do you want me to go first?
Yeah.
I've gone with Cemetery Gates.
Ooh.
And do you know what I think with Cemetery Gates as well? I think you talked about not listening to them in the summer. This is a perfect
Yeah, no, this is
summer song.
that references great. Yeah.
A dreaded sunny day. So I'll meet you at the
Oh,
Cemetery
It's
Gates.
so good.
I love this because obviously the story is his friend who I can't remember what play she wrote. I'm terrible with names and I should get more prepared on a podcast. I'll find it out after when you're doing your song, but this is about his relationship with her and being friends and them meeting and them exchanging poetry and stuff like that, which again is just so Morrissey and so crazy for a young man to be doing, but it's just brilliant. And yeah, the music as well, the guitar. I remember learning this on guitar and it taking forever because it's quite a complex part and it's all arpeggios and
bass is great on it again as well.
yeah,
Drums are good.
and again, I think that this album's very much got a tempo and a beat to it that slightly different from a couple of others. Meets Murder's quite fast paced, but in compared to the first album, which you're going to be discussing, it's a very different tempo, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and it is quite it's quite a polished song actually. Cemetery Gates.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a good song though.
It is.
It's gonna
Nothing
be
else
hard.
to know.
No, it's gonna be hard to beat though. Do you know what all I've done though when you name one is just the lyrics going through my head.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna try my best here. This Charming Man, which is, again, as I said before, probably varies a lot what difference does it make. And this one, the first three, the trio, the gateway to Smiths.
Yeah.
That's what they should be called. I'd say
Yeah.
that's pretty true. I remember learning this on guitar and I was buzzed. Like, it was a song I wanted to show people because it's so instantly recognisable. And I knew, I'm a family who love the Smiths and stuff. When
Yeah.
you're young, you're like running around. You like actually, you're trying to play it in a corner and then you get an approving nod off someone.
No, brilliant song, and like you say, it's probably a song that if people didn't really know the Smiths would definitely have heard this song at some point.
Great
as well.
video as well.
Yeah, great video. The Gladioli. And,
It's
yeah.
all in it. This is classic Smith. Is he playing a Rickenbacker in it?
I think
is it
so.
on his,
Yeah.
Gibson. Either way, but
Yeah. I want that Rickenbacker.
yeah, I do. I played one in a shop recently.
Oh, you did? Yeah, I
Nice.
remember that. Yeah, no, very cool. No,
But I did not play this song because I thought you can't. It's one of the big no-nos. I think this in a guitar shop, isn't it?
Well, like the Stairway to Heaven thing.
Yeah.
No, but I think, it's such a good song, and I love. I love like I said, I think it goes back to where like Morrissey's so clever with his lyrics and stuff, and it's a great song for the human, the humour sort of elements to it, and even just the noises sometimes that he's so famous for just
The
randomly
vocal
making.
delivery of this is so good.
Yeah.
And this being, you're on your first album and you're doing this.
Yeah.
It's pretty bold. It's you sort of know what you're doing.
Yeah, definitely. And I think as well, it's one of them that everyone obviously learns that guitar. It's impossible to get the exact same tone as Mara had on
Yeah,
it.
it's
because
like
it
it's tuned. They are like
out of tune.
it's it
Um,
is good, and I like that. If you compare it to like yours, which is a bit more polished, it's like This Charming Man to me is a proper indie record. It's quite thin sounding in places, and you can hear that analog sort of hiss on it.
Yeah.
But they're all the things that
Great
give it
bass
that
and drums
magic.
as well.
Yeah, I think we'll struggle to find ones where we don't say that about.
So what we saying then?
Oh, do you know what?
It's a tough one, isn't
It's
it?
a tough. Do you know? So, me now at this moment, I'd go with your one. I'd say Cemetery Gates, but I can feel the 13-year-old in me dying a bit of the
I think
excitement.
13-year-old and me dying as well.
Yeah, the excitement of hearing this.
I think I'll let you have this.
I
Chan,
think we
as well.
have to, don't we,
I
for
think
what it is.
It's the epitome of the Smiths in a lot of ways, isn't it? Right. Okay. Do you want to give your third song?
Yep, another, as I mentioned, this trio, this gateway. I like this, I'm coining that. What difference does it make?
Oh.
Are we just going to repeat the same thing? Great lyrics, great guitar, great.
Well, let's talk about this.
And them high notes.
Yeah. And I don't know why now, because obviously I'd heard the song miles before it came out, but it always reminds me of This Is England 88, is it?
Yeah, it's in 88, isn't it? At the
Yeah.
I was thinking of that.
Yeah, it
just
just really sort of. That just always comes to mind when I hear this song now. I love What Difference Does It Make? It's just
One of my favourite Smiths riffs, I'd say. You'd be pretty happy if you wrote that riff, wouldn't you?
The devil will find work for idle hands to do. It's just, yeah.
Yeah. Do
Wow.
we even need to hear your comparison on that?
Um,
Actually, I'm saying that as if you've picked rubbish. You've picked
I
one
have
of the best
picked I Know
Smiths
It's
albums.
Over.
Oh.
And do you know what? I'm quite sad that these two have been put together. I kind of picked this one in the middle of my choices, going back to our Top Trumps and earlier reference. In episode number 3, I think. So I think this one, again, a brilliant bass line, and famously one that Andy Rourke actually got kicked out of the Smiths when they were recording this album and had to bring him back because the song was just missing something bass-wise. And
He
what a
definitely
bass line
delivers on.
to lay down.
Do you know what I'm thinking of these two songs? They're obviously very different tempo and completely different songs, but vocal-wise performance, the close to being on par, particularly in the end section.
Yeah.
I think I Know It's Over when he goes full voice and really belts it, and then obviously this for that falsetto ending, but both, yeah.
My mind went blank earlier when you asked me what's the song that's probably got the best lyrics. I would definitely say that this is it. I think this is probably one that Morrissey would sit there and be probably most proud of in the Smiths, especially with this album.
Yeah. Another lyric repeater thing as well, really, like you mentioned.
Yeah.
You know, and just changing that. Not just always melody, like the inflection of
it's the phrase and the
voice
inflection, like
and-
you say, innit? But again, like I think for like a slow song like this, you're just drawn into that.
Yeah, it puts you in a world of your own.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it to I Know It's Over because it's one of my favourite. And
Which is very harsh to say on.
I know.
What difference does it make?
One reason being is because I think you saying it's your favourite lyrics and then losing the points pretty tight.
So you're giving me a pity one in reality again.
I mean, I'm upset. Let's actually retract what I've just given. No, I'm happy to. And it's one of my favourite songs as well. Although What Difference Does It Make is up there.
Yeah, that guitar is just,
I agree with
yeah.
what you
But
said.
probably in a lot of ways, and sometimes there is an art in the subtle, but probably like the least involved Ma feels in that song. You know,
Yeah,
It's
weirdly,
Over.
it's just sort of the acoustic
just sort of
bits,
just doing
isn't
strummy
it?
parts,
which
isn't
shows
he?
he knows he's not an overplayer, Ma, is he?
No,
Like,
no. Which
he's
again,
always
for
doing
someone
the
who's
right.
writing all the
Yeah.
song, it'd be very difficult to not be like, right, I'm writing this whole
Yeah.
guitar bit, but it brings it
I
back
think
for the
it
bass to carry
shows
it.
that selflessness and knowing. I think that's why the part. It's knowing what works best for the song, isn't it?
Definitely. I mean, like you said, Morrissey's always summed it up, and it's probably a simplified version, but a lot of it was Ma, just recording a load of stuff, and then Morrissey just living with them recordings and writing lyrics accordingly. I'm sure, obviously, when they get into the studio, where things changes happen and different bits sort of come out of it. But again, I'm trying to think of the thought process of that being that with this one, if that makes sense, because if Ma's come up with a guitar part that's quite slow and stuff, that's quite difficult to go, do you know what, that's going to be a song that's going to go on this album.
To have that room to breathe.
Yeah, which I'm guessing that probably came in the studio.
Yeah, and knowing that. I guess you've got a great lyricist. I think sometimes if you respect that other person, giving that space has to be a priority.
Yeah.
And same the other way around. When Mars written a really good intro riff and stuff,
Yeah.
Morrissey lets that go round.
He also let him famously have 2 songs that are just entirely
Yeah,
music as well.
exactly. So I think if knowing what's good from that other person and what they've brought is, it is a shame that the relationship ended where it did, because I think there was respect there, definitely musically.
Yeah.
I wonder what they think of each other's. Obviously, Mars done a lot with other bands, hasn't he? Modest Mouse,
yeah,
but,
Cribs.
Cribs. He's been in tons, but I wonder what they think. He's obviously gone on to do solo now.
Who do you think had a better career after the Smiths?
That's really tough, because obviously I think Morrissey went a lot bigger and he had, got some massive hits like First the Gang to Die, Every Day's Like Sunday. But I think probably for enjoyment purposes, and I'm not talking about me enjoying it, I'm talking about them and somebody who you look at and looks fulfilled in making music. Like if I was going to be a musician and it'd be my life, I think I'd choose people wanting you on the tracks, and every band in the world would.
Well, the Girls Aloud, didn't they?
Yeah, every band in the world would cry to have you play on their songs, and you just want to do it.
Yeah,
I think it's really credible.
Yeah, I know a lot of diehard the Cribs fans didn't really like what happened to the Cribs when Johnny Marr joined, but I absolutely loved that album. And I'd also say I don't know if you heard the song "We Share the Same Skies."
Yeah.
That riff kind of sounds a bit like "What Difference Does It Make?" and stuff
yeah,
like that.
It does.
And the titles, the album's called "Ignore the Ignorant," isn't it?
Yeah.
That's kind of like, that feels very Smiths.
It is very, he's picked up that sort of other side of it, hasn't he? But if you're talking about, I don't know, I think they're very different, and I think they're in a certain context.
Yeah, I think the what you'd say about both of them is I don't think either one would trade their careers.
Yeah, that's better put than my rambling.
No, but I've only come up with it after you've said it, and I think Morrissey always sort of, as much as he'd deny it, and he's always just a walking contradiction with a lot of things he does and says. He's got some things that obviously sticks by principle wise, but he'd consider himself like shy and stuff, but he does want to be in the spotlight.
Oh, massively, I'd say.
And he's a bona fide star in that element. He's amazing live and puts on a show for anyone going watching him. He's fantastic. Whereas I think Ma always did. He always wanted to be in a band and just write music, and that's exactly
what his life and buy loads of guitars.
Yeah.
That's what he's enjoyed. He's stuck in his lane, and I'd say he's delivered on that.
Definitely. But yeah, I mean, just a shout out to some of Morrissey's solo albums, like, Vauxhall and I, You Are the Quarry, and Suede Head. He did really well still, I think, without
definitely. That
involved.
Voice as well.
Yeah. Some great lyrics after the Smiths.
Yeah, it was a great solo career.
Right, track number 4.
Who's on the pick?
It'll be me. So I've gone for the title track, The Queen Is Dead.
Oh man, what a tune. That's hard, because not only have we got 2 good songs, I think, going against, which I'll say mine is Hand in Glove. I think 2 amazing intros.
2 very amazing intros.
And 2 of the best Smiths. It's weird how this is quite lined up, because I just put 5 in I don't think I put them in track order. I just put them in whatever. But yeah, Hand in Glove.
I love Hand in Glove.
Lyric. This was me trying to be angsty at 15. This going right, just the lyrics to just speak to you. I think they should speak to you in any regard, but I think as a young person, this definitely speaks to you.
This love is different
because it's ours. They're just such these like young, your ideas of life.
Yeah.
A bit of angst, bit of, yeah. Could literally read every lyric out for this song.
Yeah, but then again, the Queen is dead. We can go for a walk where it's quiet and dry and talk about precious things.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I think I've got to say, I mean, the drum solo alone in the start of Queen is Dead is just, I'm gonna be going for this one, and I don't think I need to sell it any more than that. It's just one of them album openers that if you was gonna get this on a record and put the record player on, you've got that very old fashioned introduction.
And I remember, and it did blow me away the first time. I sat down to listen, and particularly when I got the album on vinyl and stuff, and that it's coming, it does excite me as a song. So I'm happy to concede.
Oof, we're 2 for 2 here, so it's this last song that's really sort of we will have a winner, put it that way. Okay. So, do you want to say what your last song is?
Yeah, I'll go for it. Still Ill.
Oh,
And
I've done that to every
no, not a big fan of them noises. I think one thing I was saying to you before this, and I think you had a different opinion to it, was I prefer this album version without the harmonica.
I love the harmonica. It just adds something different, and you know what I love about it? It's so it's just so mad. Like I think when he started writing songs, The Pretenders,
it's jangly on the harmonica. It makes everything
so
jangle.
Yeah, he's like
Could make a bongo jangle.
He's like the godfather of jangle, isn't he?
Yeah.
The jangle father.
It should be called the jangle father.
The jingle jangle father. But no, because I think he joined. Did he do some songs, The Pretenders and stuff, and he was on the harmonica or something?
I think so.
I just think it's so
he's done
cool.
a song with everyone, hasn't he?
Yeah, but he's
I
just.
think my nan wrote a
I've
few
just
with
got.
him.
Any good ones?
You're quite good at jangle it.
No, I think I've got this image of the Still Ill version with the harmonica of him in his Ray-Bans and his like long floppy fringe and something about that I'd choose the harmonica every day, but I still love the album version as well.
So what's yours? Have we picked yours?
Oh god, yeah, we've not gone to mine. I've got caught up in Still Ill, which might give away what's happening. I had to pick it. I was torn between a few songs, if I was being honest. But I've had to pick There Is Light That Never Goes Out.
Yeah, for a feeling. So if I'm purely judging this off feeling, I think the way There Is a Light makes you feel is, it's a great one to put on when you're sad. That optimism in it running throughout is, I feel like we're probably opposite sides. I feel like you're more leaning towards mine and I'm leaning towards yours.
Which is great. Unheard of on this podcast history.
It's the podcast first. This is clickbait stuff.
How can we be fighting over the opposite?
The opposite. We're fighting for each other to win.
Yeah. Just some special mentions as well before we get to this exciting pick.
Who wins the point?
It'd be remiss of me not to call out songs like The Boy with the Thorn in His Side, Big Mouth Strikes Again, and I love as well, which is probably a bit underrated, Never Had No One Ever. Musically, that's fantastic.
Yeah, it is really good. God, that album as a whole is just such a solid piece of work, isn't it, when you look at it? Besides Some Girls Bigger Than Others.
No, like that one.
I don't lyrically know.
The music video as well, too. Yeah, I know what you mean, lyrics, but they're kind of funny as well.
Yeah.
Right, going back to this song, let me talk about There Is Light Never Goes Out from it first. I've said it for all of them, but the lyrics are unbelievable, and I think it's one of them. I think it's probably, they'd say, it's probably the defining Smith song, one of, at least. I think it's so... It sums them up as a band. I think musically it's excellent. I think this recording as well is just brilliant and polished as well. I really like it. And just some of the lines and just the
I just think
vocal
opening with that Take Me Out Tonight, Take Me Anywhere, I Don't Care, is just, it puts you in that, if I'm going to concede, I'm happy to go down with this.
Yeah, and you know what, honestly, Still Ill is definitely in my, definitely top 10 Smith songs, and it is so good. But I think There Is a Light Never Goes Out also in there, and I think it just pips Still Ill just as a full complete
as an
song.
overall
Yes.
Smith's experience song. I think that if I'm going to show somebody a Smith song who's never heard them, I'm going
Yeah.
first, like, but never goes out, and I think it can never lose a point for that.
Yeah, no, definitely. So, The Queen is Dead wins, which I think if we're both honest, I think as an album...
Yeah, it did. I mean,
it's
it's
correct,
turned...
yeah.
Is it turned 30, did you say?
40.
40.
40, yeah.
So it's turned 40, so it deserves to win.
Yeah.
And close, though, 3-2.
3-2, yeah, very close. And did you know what? The one thing you'd say, and I know the Smiths would probably think the same, so I'm speaking for them here.
as you are a
As a
spokesperson
yeah,
for them.
As the head of the fans.
Yeah.
I think the Smiths would say The Queen is Dead's a better album because I know how unhappy they were with the recording.
Yeah,
And it
you
changed the way that first album was recorded. Sort of changed the way that they then went on as a band, which probably for the better. In terms of how they then went into the studios and obviously didn't really get all the producers involved. So yeah, I think this was. It was a close one because you forget how good that first album is.
And how many great standout moments.
I think. Do you know what I think it is? I think a lot of people sort of, because of the compilation albums, A Hat Full of Hollow and Louder Than Bombs and The World Won't Listen and stuff. I think a lot of people go Meat Is Murder, The Queen Is Dead, Strange Ways. Well, actually, maybe just the second album, the third album, really. I think a lot of people miss the first because of some of the.
Yeah, I think they do, and I feel like because you've got the. Yeah, like you say, you've got the compilations.
Yeah, because it's just got some of the other big hits that you want on
and
one.
you more see them as standout tracks, like the start of the Smiths' journey and where they were.
Yeah.
Whereas I think for complete work, The Queen is Dead.
Yeah.
Happy for it to win it.
Okay, well, I'm glad that's solved and sorted. Now we're just going to do a little new part of the podcast that I think we're going to make a regular thing. This is our track of the week. So this is just any song that we've been listening to in the last week that we just thought we'd give a shout out to. So Alex, what's yours?
I'm going to go for a bit of a throwback to my childhood. For anyone who knows it, but my United States or whatever. I've been getting back into some old pop punky type songs, and I just think
great music video.
What great music video, great tune. I just love when music was fun and people enjoyed it. So
there was a lot of fun sort of stuff around there.
There was, and that's what I'm diving back into. So hopefully I'll continue to bring more fun songs. DJ Alex with the fun mix.
Shame we can't play any.
Yeah, and very different song from the Smith stuff.
Great lyrically, both.
Great lyrically, great.
No, so my song of the week, I went for a different vibe. I went a little bit more serious than you, and probably summed us both up. I went for Kate Bush, Cloud
Oh,
Busting.
you're so artsy, aren't you?
I hate you for painting me out like that. No,
I'm not doing anything. Your words are doing it to yourself.
No, great album, Hounds of Love, and this is probably my favourite song on there. I've actually been watching The Handmaid's Tale. Have you watched that?
No, I've not seen it.
It is a good show. Takes a toll on you watching it, but very good. But yeah, I just got to the episode. I think it's in season 4. Or, yeah, that's where I'm up to, so it should be. And yeah, there's a scene in that where that song comes on, and it just floods back how great that tune is, and for anyone who's interested in this sort of stuff, looking into the story of how she came up with the lyrics for that, it's pretty fascinating. I will not bore anybody with it because we're trying to wrap this up now. But yeah, great tune, and that's us for Song of the Week.
That's us, yeah. I like that segment.
Thanks, Al. Right, well, see you next week.
See you next week.